I am so happy to introduce the director of La Civil, TEODORA Ana Mihai, and it's so good to see you. You were born in Romania in 1981, and you left the country right after you were able to, in 1989, to join your family in Belgium, I believe. So you don't have a Mexican background. I'm supposing that. I'm asking you in a minute, but you have been getting awards for documentary films in the past, and we have to talk about Waiting for August, or we could have talked about Waiting for August if we had more time, but with your new first feature film, La Civil, you took Cannes by storm, I believe, and you were nominated for 3 awards in Cannes, and you won one of them, the Prize of Courage, and I believe it's well deserved. So welcome, and happy to have you here, TEODORA Ana Mihai.
Thank you very much for having me, for having the film, and for your interest. I want to go back to your comment or your question about my Mexican involvement, let's say, because it is actually, my story with Mexico goes back a whole while. It's actually, I was studying, I finished my high school years, the 2 last years of high school in California, San Francisco, California. And as you know, California is, the Spanish is a #1 language, actually. And a lot of my friends were of Mexican origin or even born in Mexico. So I got to know the country before the so-called drug war. And it was a completely different country where you could travel without, these restrictions and the fear for your own life. And at the moment when President Calderon declared the war on drugs, slowly but surely, this people's daily life, citizens' daily life changed. And as I was going in and out, because I still have a lot of friends and a lot of acquaintances in Mexico, and so since my teenage years, I've been going back and forth. And when I met a Mexican writer, Abacuc Antonio de Rosario, who also co-wrote the script here in Belgium 10 years ago, this interest, let's say, kind of stayed very alive. He writes a lot about, how his country is changing, and a lot of his novels and essays are about that. So it was food for a lot of conversation and debates. And so in 2014, I had finished my first film, Waiting for August, which was a documentary. But I promised myself that I was going to do something about this subject matter in Mexico.
So how come, as a documentary filmer, you decided on a feature film? What happened there?
Yes, it was actually a decision that came along the way. The funny anecdote is that Waiting for August was supposed to be a feature film. And as I always like to do a lot of research, I stumbled upon a family that I could not, that really won my heart, and I decided that they were going to help me tell the story. And in La Civil, it was the other way around. I started with the idea of making a documentary. And I did 2.5 years of research. And then finally, I wanted to tell the story from the point of view of children, but then one lady contacted me. Well, we got contact through a common friend, and this lady was an important militant later on. Her name is Miriam Rodriguez, who unfortunately got killed in 2017 in front of her house. When we met 2 years and a bit earlier, she completely convinced me, and I wanted to make the documentary about her. So I started filming her, and during 2 weeks. But my Mexican crew told me, listen, you're going to have to rethink this project because this is too dangerous. And really everything, you know, we were dealing with obvious safety issues, cartel issues, and also censorship from a creative point of view, because I had to censor myself for people's safety. And also, you know, the army or the authorities were not very happy with my camera, you know, following this lady everywhere, because she obviously had to criticize a lot of them. And in relation to the army, it was obvious that, you know, they were helping her, but they were not supposed to help her because she was a civilian.
So it's a reminiscence on Miriam, the movie, and the title. Tell us a bit about shooting. Did you shoot the movie on original places in Mexico? We were talking about the security issues, so tell us about the making of the film.
Yes, it was very important for me to film it in Mexico. I mean, because of the COVID situation, and the security situation, we, for a very short moment, considered filming it in a different place, but for me, it was something that we couldn't do. And luckily, Mexico is so big that it's actually a continent almost. So not every corner of Mexico is dangerous. I mean, you have levels. And so the question was to find a place where where it was safe enough for us to bring a crew, to bring actors, and to film. And this place was Durango, Mexico.
Tell us about your main actress. How did you stumble about her? I mean, she's doing such an amazing job. Arcelia Ramirez, she's carrying the movie. She's fierce, she's present. Tell us, how did you find her?
I had her on my radar, believe it or not, since I was a teenager.
Okay.
She had been in a film that might ring a bell, like Water for Chocolate, it's called. And I had seen that film when it came out, and she had a tiny role in it, really, but she was the voice, she was the narrator, and so she is you see her at the beginning and then at the end, but she narrates, and I loved her presence. I remember her, even the small role, and then, but of course that was in the back of my mind, and when I was searching for actresses, I don't know, it's kind of 3 different people from 3 different directions mentioned her to me, and I looked her up and I was like, of course, I know, I remembered it, made a click, and so many years later I was like, okay, she had this huge career also, and is a very loved actress in Mexico. And I said to myself, okay, I need to contact her, I need to send her the script, see what her reaction is, and we'll go from there. And her reaction was so amazing and so convincing that I had to look no further, actually.
We have to come to an end, unfortunately. Last question, maybe. I know it's quite a situation that is horrifying in Mexico right now. There's maybe not much hope, but you do know the country a bit better. And I was wondering, you are finishing off your movie with a little bit of hope, maybe. I'm not sure. So maybe we can round this up with a few sentences on the future of Mexico and the end of your movie.
The ending of the movie was one of the most difficult decisions of this filmmaking process, because it is, I'm very curious, actually. I would almost want to ask every single viewer in part what they think the last scene means, or the last moment means, because it is very open to every, the viewer becomes part of the narrative almost, has to decide for themselves what it means. Who's there? Who's coming? Is it in our head? And I find that actually the most beautiful part. And because all of it is plausible. All of it can exist in the Mexican reality. will she be shot dead? Very possible. Can the girl return? I've had testimonies where it happened because of, you know, prostitution, you know, these human trafficking rings, you know. Is it in her head? Has she gone mad? I mean, there are so many interpretations that I feel as a maker that it gives the film more power.
Thank you so much for this, TEODORA ANA MIHAI. Thank you for being with us, and all the best for the future, and maybe good luck with winning the award, the political movie, at Filmfest Hamburg and the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung. Thank you so much.
Thank you.